All right. So I just started now online. So I think the first thing we're going to do is to do a quiz. Then I'm going to attend to as many that have issues because of, I think it's not all the things I'm reading, but I do know if anybody has one or two questions or so to ask, we'll ask. So we should be going to quiz 4. I'm going to share my screen. And then, of course, tomorrow will be our last.
People began to speak freely. Muslims who returned to Makkah did not disappear. They lived in the countryside around Makkah and became a pressure point, spreading Islam and weakening Quraysh control.
Okay, I'm going to open up the quiz.
Once again, and its messenger won, even though some Muslims had sincere doubts at the time. By the year 630, the Prophet Muhammad
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. So what was to take it? So the first destination in an inbound emails gets to in exchange online protection is transport rule. Is it true or false? It's transport rule. Please drop a message on your distance. Is it true or false? The very first destination, you remember the email flow where they are coming in an exchange online protection, EOP, where does it get to first? Said I answer. Then the other one is the first place and outbound, which is if it means getting outside the organization, gets to in an exchange online protection EOP is outbound is anti-malware. Is it true or false? The first destination in an inbound email gets to in an exchange online protection, that is the first destination. The first destination and inbound emails get to in an online. So it's just the same question about this one. Is this? So is it this or is it this? And then is it true? So now one can trace email on Exchange admin portal as well as admin center. Is this statement true or false? One can create transport rule in Exchange admin portal as well as admin center. Is it true or false? One can provide mailbox delegation in both Exchange admin center and as well as admin center. Is it true or false? MS2 box and Microsoft Connectivity Analyzer are good tools in managing message header and DNS. Is it true or false? Let's start with this. So what's your answers? What are your answers? The first one, the first destination it gets to is not transport rule. So this is false. This statement is false. We're going to take a look at it just in a brief. Now, again, this one, the outbound, if it's going to, is it going to get to anti-malware? False. Yes, I think this one is correct. We can cross-check with the note we got. Where's that? 2. Just wanted to remember this. So the first place it gets to is connection filter. When it's coming in, it gets to connection filter first before it even gets to transport route. And when it's going out, what's the first place it gets to? Outbound anti-spam. This is the last place it gets to in anti-malware filter. Remember, filter is really more of IP addresses, and why spam is more of the message itself. So the same thing when it comes to the connection filter, it gets to filter first. It checks the IP address first, and then before it even gets to malware connection filter, anti-connection filter, and go on from there. So this is almost so we can see that anti-malware spam. So definitely to answer that, if you check this when it's going out, that's the first place it gets to, outbound anti-spam. So that is also false. So you go through that, and then what can it's anti-malware. Okay, yes. So then when it's also coming into this, gets in inbound email, so it's also false, because the first destination, like I said, is filter. I'm going to restart this question. I'm going to restart this because it's going to go out in a few minutes. So, all right. So the first few seconds, rather. I'm going to just restart it here. Don't worry about it. The exams. All right. So let's go back to it. So we have this, and then we have so this other one says one can trace emails on Exchange admin portal as well as admin list. You can always trace email on Exchange portal. You can always trace email on Exchange portal, which I believe some of you must have. We did that. We performed a lot of them yesterday. Last time. One can create a transport through in the Exchange admin portal as well as admin center. Can you do so? Now, you can create a transport. You can only create a transport rule in Exchange, because that's the reason why you are here. You should be able to know the difference between this. Can I do this one? Can I do this one? You remember that you can create accounts on Enter ID. You can create an account on the admin center, but in some cases, it's not like that. And I told you there are email attributes only on one and the other one. So transport rule has to do with Exchange. And then can you do the same thing here? The answer is false. It's not true. Now, one can provide email delegation in both Exchange Admin Center and as well as Admin Center. Yes, the answer is true, because you can do both. If you go check, you can do both. Oh, permit me, I've not logged into my account, but I'm going to do so. Because like I said, my computer restarted, so I'm just trying to, I'm going to get into incognito environment. So I'm even starting afresh. So it's going to pull out this thing, and I'm just going to ensure that I put the right information on seconds to pull out my information. So that's okay. I think, did I finish this thing? I'm not sure I finished that. Okay, so while this one is coming up for me to show you this one, then I'm not sure we talked about MS Toolbox. It's just a tool. I'm going to go over it again. MS Toolbox and Microsoft Connectivity Analyzer are good tools in managing message headers and DNS. Yes, true. We look at Microsoft Connectivity Analyzer last time, which we can analyze the message, and then we also look at I'm not sure we looked at this. I'm going to just talk about it briefly. MS Toolbox is just something you use to analyze message. The same way you come into Microsoft Connectivity Analyzer, the same way too also you come into MS Toolbox. It's an online tool. Two of them are online too. You just Google, you get them straight away. If you go to just say, this is my page, just say, analyzer, any environment you have. So it will just give you different, it's a tool that you need to have, you could see. And then where we went to was just message analyzer, even though we have several tools, and then we put in our message here and we'll be able to analyze it. So MX Toolbox 2, MS Toolbox 2 is just by default. And then you can also, you could see here, you could do DNS lookups, you know, you can search for different emails of different domain. You know, that's why I put the word DNS. Let's look for our domain, for instance. Let me see. Sorry, let me use the one for, let's look at the company that's that works. You can see a lot of information about the MX lookups and all that. So the information about the IP address, the virtual IP address and all that. So you could see a whole lot of configuration there. But the ones we are looking for majorly is this analyzer, just the same way you have this tool to which analyze the tool for you, message header for you, and you could see the transport in the which they actually walk around. All right, so I think that comes to the sorry, okay, so that comes to the final thing about the test. So the test, you've seen that. So now, is anybody who have any challenges before we go into today's class? Today's class, it's you know, it's what we're going to work on. Anybody have any challenges on them? So of course, like I told you, we are limited in what we can teach right now. For those who are going to be going to the advanced class, then we'll be able to do more, and then we'll get more into advanced troubleshooting. Quite a number of things will be going on with what we're going to do, and it's going to be more deeper. This is just more like on elementary, and then you should just be ready to go all the way. So today we'll be reaching out so many things here. You could see we're going to be more, you know, doing a lot of other parts of the. Okay, let me check. Okay, I got some responses. I believe other people are responding because you should be responding. Yeah, that shows that you are following up, and I believe the admin is taking note of your response. Very, very key. Okay, so let's go to today's class. First, I would have to sign in my account so that I can be able to show you guys what we are working on. Right, so we have my own personal account. By the way, those people who are going to be we might have to provide those who are going to be going to the advanced class. We may have to provide them with license for their accounts, because this is where they may have to, of course, we'll talk about that later on, talk with my team, and so that we can provide this thing for them, because they are going to be doing something called Teams. They're going to be working with Teams, you know, which is Teams Online and all that. With that kind of required license, they will be able to perform some activities. So I will look at the numbers that we have on the platform now, if you have to remove some license, and then we'll provide some license so that they can practice Teams, because with all that, they have to do it with their own account. So I think that would be the best way for them to practice Teams. Teams Online, which I'm going to start looking at now. So we have 1 minute. I want to believe that nobody is having problem. Okay, if you have a problem, just currently lost in everything from the beginning. Please brief me on what has been done. Yeah, what we have just done was just to what we did was just to did a quiz. I mean, we just went through a quiz, and then we were able to get the answer. So you can always get the version on YouTube. It's going to be recorded already, and then so you come back and then watch that. So we are starting today's class. Like I said, today's class is mainly this is what we're going to be looking at, and we're going to be looking at a number of things. We are looking at SharePoint slash OneDrive. We are looking at Teams. Call it Teams admin. We are looking at Purview, and we are looking at security admin. Now, the background is going to what I'm going to be sharing. It's going to be more of lecture today, and then maybe a little bit of understanding for you guys to go back and then make sure you read more of this information. Some of this information I'm going to post the link into your this thing so that you can get understanding, please. But I need your full attention with me, while I'm going to be showing you quite a number of things, while I'm going to be showing you quite a number of things in terms of, yes, why I want to believe that okay. So while I'm going to be showing you number of things, I just want, like I said, please pay attention. This is very, very key. Now, let me first show you all this environment I'm going to show so that you will understand what I'm talking about. We have SharePoint, we have Teams, we have Purview, we have security. We have quite no more than this, but even this, we are limited to what I'm going to talk about, because I don't want to overcrowd you. And then, of course, we have short period of time. Again, we'll be going on a 7 weeks, journey for the next class, and that will be a longer time as well. So that's to tell you how much we may not be able to cover so on this free class. So let me quickly just go through what I'm talking about. All this while, we have been dealing with identity, and we have been dealing with exchange, right? And we have been dealing, and our main entrance is admin, which is Microsoft Admin Center, Microsoft 365 Admin Center, right? All this while, that's what we have been dealing with. Being able to walk through users, accounts, and even create share mailbox here. And then we can go to Exchange, where we have contacts, where we have groups, where we have mailboxes, share mailbox, the other one, and then we can do all that. Now, more so, we talk about identity, where we'll have the identity, create users, different group on the identity, the difference between all of these three. But now we want to go into SharePoint, Teams, and then Purview and security. Now, the hinching is for the expert class, or more like we're going to talk about it on advanced class. And then we're also going to talk about Power Platform, which is also going to be on the advanced and expert class, because those are advanced, company. This is where you can build application yourself, build a whole lot of things yourself. So basically, that's what it is. Now, so we're going to be going through all that, in the ones I mentioned. Those are the SharePoint, Teams, and all that. Let's start with SharePoint. The SharePoint platform is generally a compromise comprised of site collections, sites, web parts, pages. In a simple term, I'm going to start with the ones you understand. I'm sure you have seen something called website before. It's just a website. And on that website, it will contain about several pages. Let's say home page, this page, this and all that. Now, those pages, they are for different purposes. So now again, I want you to understand that when we talk about sites in this SharePoint case, we are talking about intranet sites. Now, what do I mean by that? We have, you have the internet site, the one you can open. Just go to Google, check the website, and you can go. But this kind of account, you can only see it inside. It's going to be inside the organization. Maybe they keep their organization. Maybe for HR, will have its own this thing. So if you don't have connection, if you don't have access to sign into that organization, you cannot see what we are talking about. And that becomes the internet site we are talking about. So, excuse me. So that's what we're talking about. So internet site we are talking about. So now when I talk about site, I'm talking about the main one, what brings everything together. And then when I talk about collections, it means different little parts, right? Now, inside different little parts, you will see pages, you will see web parts, and that's what it just is described here. Collection, a group of sites. A site collection is a group of sites. Are normally organized in department, project, function. So that's a site collection. So a site collection. And then we have a page. So of course, and that page can be, could just come up, a page cannot be the same for all of them. One page can be built on HTML, the other page can be built on JavaScript, different page like that. So just understand that. Then the web part, where there are code, maybe you want that a particular page to begin to function in a way, like maybe you have some JavaScript and all that. So you realize that all these things, when you want to build a website, you first of all register the big name, and then the next thing is that you will now begin to put information together. You structure them, and then when you structure them something like this, right? Yeah, you structure them something like this, where you have you have a site, which, okay, now so you have like a tree of libraries of information, and each of these sites, like this of this site, they will have each of these sites, they will have different things on this site. You could see here, this site, this site, this site, this site, and then on the main site you see HR, this. Now this will become a big site, while the other one will just be small site under it, and then each of these small sites will contain different things, maybe pages, whatever it is. Now, the essence of why I'm saying all these things is for you to understand the permission level in which we are going to give you are creating a site. Now, and this is why we talk about the permission level now. So I'm going to copy this and send to you for you to read. And then you can also go online and talk about, SharePoint modern experience sharing permission, which we are going to take a look at. Now we have, so the SharePoint follows top-down inheritance. So if you have a site collection level, you give a permission at the site collection level, then the sub-site that follows that site collection level will automatically own it. It's just like you open a folder. If you create another folder inside that folder, what happens? And you grant somebody access on the big folder, what will happen is that that person you have access to will be able to have access to the smaller one, right? So, but if you have access to, so that's how it's going to go. So the permission is going to be inherited down the line. So So we have then at the same time from the site level, then you have different lists, libraries, and what they do. And then you have folder level, you have item level like that. And then you have that. So that's how the share this is, works. Now, what is the difference between a SharePoint, OneDrive, and then SharePoint? We talk about SharePoint as a site majorly. What we can think about right now, we call it a site, which we are going to see. Then what do we mean by OneDrive? OneDrive basically, and then you have two types of OneDrive, and that's the reason why I've just tried to put across here. We have two types of OneDrive. You have OneDrive for business, and you have OneDrive generally. Let's say you go to register, you try to create an account with Microsoft. Microsoft will sell to you directly as an individual, the one you would just want to use for yourself, for your family. Use just your personal OneDrive. Maybe with your Yahoo, your Gmail account, you just register and say, oh, I need more space. I need to just be able to use my Excel, Word document and all that. That's just personal OneDrive. However, if you are in a company, they call it OneDrive for business, right? So you call it OneDrive for business. So now there are two different. Now, firstly, when we talk about OneDrive, OneDrive is actually a place you keep your information. While SharePoint site is a place where what? Where there's a general information. General information. Now, and then they come with a link. That's why they call it OneDrive. So if we have two people or two or more people, let me use two or more people up to 10,000, whatever, I'm going to be sharing one particular file or information. We want to have our information in one central place. What are we going to use? We can use OneDrive and we can use SharePoint, but SharePoint is going to standardize it. And I'm going to answer it because you're like, why, what's the difference? Yes, clear difference. On one site, you have a link which is being shared by everybody. Everybody has access, just like that site permission talks about. Now, if you are going to use your own OneDrive to share, it means that you are going to give that person permission. You are going to send invites to that person to have access to it. So it's very possible for somebody to begin to use your own OneDrive for business. Yes, it's very possible it can be shared. But in a standard environment, if you want to have something to share, you create it on SharePoint, which is because from the word name is shared. You have to be shared. All of them is stored in Office 365. All of them. Now, the OneDrive for business is now personal. Now, take an instance where you are working. So every organization has that. We have it. If, for instance, let's say they stayed your laptop or something happened, or maybe, God forbid, something happened to your laptop and it's gone, how then do you recover your information back? So, another thing you can also think of is this, you have your drive. If you open your computer, on your computer, and you decide to say, oh, let me look at what is inside my computer. Let's just say this is this PC. This PC will tell you different drive on this computer. So you have C drive, you have D drive, and you have E drive, right? Now, the same way too, OneDrive is your drive for your account that is stored somewhere else. So whatever you are doing on your computer, if you are in a OneDrive environment, you have a license for OneDrive, everything you are doing on that computer, it will be kept somewhere else. And you'll be syncing on real time. And of course, if you're in a business environment, you expect to have an internet. So it will be syncing the real time. And so if you look at this picture, the first picture here for the left, you will see that there's a man who's trying to access different information and he's trying to save it in his own system. As he's saving his own system, what is he doing? The copy of that message is being transmitted to the cloud and it's going, whether it is personal OneDrive or whether it is company OneDrive, it's being transmitted to the cloud. And then it will just go straight to the cloud. Now, the upload center is there. So The upload center is a place where all different users using online will be storing their information in the Microsoft. As millions or billions of people using OneDrive, all the information will be stored in one place, or like, I'm not saying it has to be in one exact location, but they just say it's going to be stored in the Microsoft environment. Now, the same way too, if I also want to share anything using SharePoint, one can also do the same. One can also do the same and share it. Now, the other one talk about Office 365, we've already talked about are just our services, whether it's Exchange, whether it's they're all our services. And then, of course, this upload center connects with database and make sure that there's no integrity lost in the data. So if I decide to go and then come back, you see that there won't be any integrity lost on the data. So now look at the other side of it, the second part of it, to explain further as well. If you have your personal document, like I said, it goes to your OneDrive for Business. If you have a group team document that you want to show, you create a SharePoint, and then you put all the documents under that SharePoint. If you have an existing environment and they say, okay, just keep to what the environment that you're working on. So OneDrive is for your personal, Share is for sharing. So that's what OneDrive is all about. Then we talk about Teams. Like I said, it's going to be more of training. Just go back and understand this very well. Microsoft Teams is a unified collaboration, right? And for communication platform. So, and then we have a service center hub within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, designed to help teams stay informed. And I can show you an example of Microsoft Teams. I don't know if I've explained some already. So we have, these are chats. We have Teams chats, and we have Teams what? We have Teams chat, we have Teams channel, Teams and channels. So this is Teams chats. So the Teams chat is me joining maybe 2 or 3 persons together and name it, and then we'll begin to chat. That's Teams chat. And then we have Teams channel. This is where you can give somebody permission, you can give this, you can give that, you can create as much of things you can. So that's why I know that so that's what this is, the Teams chat, Teams chat, and then you will see them later on. So we have it's just for communication, you chatting, calling, and all that. So basically that's what it's going to be useful for. And it comes in three versions. It comes in mobile apps, so you can be on mobile apps, calling it desktop app, also on the web app. So that's for Teams. I'm sure it's similar to using Zoom. So we have what are the key features with these Teams? So of course, persistent chat and channels, meeting and video conference. And then we have file sharing and collaborations and other. Of course, all these ones are useful to share file sharing and collaboration. And then we have integrations with apps. So you can integrate with apps, flexible. And then voice calling Teams, iPhone. We also have where you will need a license to be able to call directly, because when you are calling on Teams to Teams, you are more or less calling like using internet calling. So I call you, you call me back. It's internet calling. So, but with the moment you'll be able to get a license for that particular user, and then get a number for that particular user, the person will be able to send a call out of the regular line, out of the regular call, meaning that I can decide to call. If I have this license, for instance, I can just come over to my email. I can just come over to this and then set up how I can make a call. So there will be a keypad here where I can call regular number, like US, Canada number, straight away, and then the person will get the message. So okay, 1 minute. Okay, so those are the so you could see with that. Now, security compliance is also built as part of what is expected in data encryption, sending messages as far as the key feature or key themes feature is concerned. The architecture. In a brief way, the architecture is very complex to see from the look of things, but I'm just going to break it down very short. We will see the web, we will see the desktop, iOS, and the app, which I said it can be on your mobile phone. You can see on the Android app, and then you see all these things are connected to all these services. So what it means is that whether it's on the web, whether it's on the desktop app, it keeps pulling out information from this already. So so it's pulling information from all these team services, conversions and all that. Now, so now the part that I wanted you to see here is when you will see that they want in yellow. In yellow towards the last part says chat and presence services, calling and marketing PSTN, meaning that you will require somebody. You want to get into that kind of business, you require somebody to be able to call PSTN, and then you will not you require the license. You will need a license to be able to do that as well. So just bear that in mind. Now, I think the third one is the Purview. Purview generally it's a compliance portal. What we can think of right now is looking at how organization can govern the data information. They don't want leak of information. They don't want you to work for them and then you go and leak information somewhere else and things like that. And they want to be able to mitigate the risk, especially when people are working from home. So they want to mitigate the risk. So by providing what we call Microsoft Purview. So the Purview is just going to set the security posture for the organization. How are they going to download? How are they going to edge and all that? How are they going to download? How are they going to do all those things? Whatever it is you are going to put in place, you're going to just have some kind of compliance in place that will be monitoring all the activities that the users are doing within the organization. For instance, if you decide to delete something within the organization, it will trigger alarm because let's say you are deleting multiple numbers, it will trigger alarm and they could be seen as if you are trying to hide something and things like that. So those are things, especially if they are sensitive documents. Microsoft Purview Compliance Portal is what you see, audit, compliance alerts. So we see all that in there. If you check all your things, you will see all these things there. The same way for all these ones. The same way for all these ones. So the last part is the defense. I'm glad that we've touched base with EOP, which is connection, filter. You'll be able to filter something out. You'll be able to filter something out. You'll be able to if email is coming in, if email is going out. But beyond email coming in and email going out is what this Defender for Office 365 is all about. So Micro is Azure Central to Hub, but the real Defender, let me see. So the real 1 minute, okay. It started from here, okay. So the risk, so Microsoft Compliance is the portal central for Microsoft 365 integrated solution and the government data. Now offer to security, other security and all that, which is what I just explained. Oh, sorry. I think I move. Did I move? Oh, okay, okay. So it looks as if I must have moved two message. I'm gonna move information of this one to this one. Okay, I would so I think I copied message of this one to this one. So this is not supposed to be here. We're supposed to have a defender for we're supposed to have this one. Excuse me. We're supposed to have this one, but this is the content. This content is out of space. But basically, let me just explain it from this side. Defender for 365, we have different security that is here right now. Which these are what you use for security postures. Like I mentioned, we have already Office 365, which protects emails going on all that. But there are more information that is going to be going on in terms of managing the security of the environment. So Microsoft Defenders for Security actually helps in Microsoft Security actually helps in protecting the whole environment. And the very first thing you're going to take a look at is just these are all different services from Microsoft, right? But of course, we may not go into all the people. We'll look at the Microsoft of Office 5 Defender for Office 5. The very first thing you're going to take a look at is this one, this tag. This tag. We have, if you look at the tag at the edge, you see something like network throttling, domain reputation, enhanced filtering from premise routing. This is the edge, IP reputation. That's where the IP, where we talk about filtering and all that comes into play. Now, the next layer would be the layer where sender intelligence, where if you are sending anything out of the organization, and is the organization going to see it? Is it going to see it as is the new email coming from your side? Because I can actually come on my what's it called, on my command prompt here, and just configure something and send email to anybody from my command prompt. In fact, I can send email using CNN, right? But if you are going to receive it, that message, now what will be able to detect it that the message is not coming from CNN? You know that, you remember that. So what will happen is that because any receiver will have seen it, that will check the IP address of CNN, I will check my own IP that, oh, this is so automatically it will not be able to come into that environment because it will just take it out as a spam. And that's why you see a lot of spam. If you have seen where people see spam messages and all that, you think, why do they detect this is spam? Because there is something that is protecting the IP address for any organization. So if that's what called domain reputation. So they already have it, so nobody can use your email to send email. If they send it, if that person also has a very genuine email recipient to check it, or maybe organization, what it's going to do, it will not even get to the person, because even though somebody has sent a malicious on behalf of another company, but when it gets to the place where it's going to be routing that message to the actual destination, something is going to hijack it and say, no, this is not coming from the right source. That's where I'm going. So you could see your own edge protections in terms of what you are going to work on. And then on the second level, where there's intelligence, that we automatically have something in place, something that we automatically be working on the internet that will be checking every incoming and every outgoing. Now, for instance, now there's something called user impersonation. It's a system within the exchange, within the Microsoft, that ensure that certain VIPs are protected, like CEOs and all that, because they don't want the CEO. They will say they are sending email within. I'm not even talking about within the organization. That's Somebody will be sending email and just use something to send email on behalf of a CEO, and the person will receive it. And they say, okay, CEO instructed I should send this and send it. And we say we'll receive that message. Oh, and then somebody else will carry out the instruction. So because those are VIPs, we have to be sure. We have to be sure that the system is in place to protect those VIPs. Bulk filterings, domain cross domain spoon filtering, DMARC, and all that. Those are key in part of the protection. These are part of what cybersecurity people talked about. Those who are going to be going more into cybersecurity. Then we have what we call the content filtering. That's some of the areas where exchange comes in, because now it's an insight now. We talk about transport rules, to make sure blocking emails, blocking attachment, make sure that there's a safe attachment and all that. There are also content filtering that works in that. Post delivery, this is when you are sending, after the emails has arrived. You see, it's coming from here, from this environment. Let's say the arrow is coming down. As it comes in to get to this place first check the IPs, make sure that it's actually coming from the right source. The second level checks, if the authenticity of the emails, for instance, is it the right person? Is it being impersonated? Is it coming from the source? You further check it. Then the third layer is talking about, is this person allowed to even send email, or to even receive attachment? If the attachment, compromised, is it has virus and all that? This third level, we check all that. And then with machine language models, it will be able to know the behavior of the content. And then, which is ML models here. Then by the time we get to the last part, we're talking about the save links. Now, this is when you have seen the message. The message already gets into your Outlook already. It's already on your OneDrive already. And then the campaign is there already. And somehow, there's still going to be an activities checking that whenever you open it, that the activity will be sure that if everything of this one is escaped everything here, and maybe after escaping all this one, maybe at the time there's a bug, or there's a that escape, maybe by the time you open it, it now starts reacting. Then there's something called malware 0 hour, or called 0 hour auto purge. So maybe you see 0 hour, it means that he just detected it and then he has to remove it immediately. That is 0 hour auto purge. So it can be for phishing, for malware, for spam, anything. You'll be able to control it immediately, even at the point of opening the mail. So basically, what we are going to do like that today is just to give us understanding of how this deployment is. So the focus here for me, I will be just to focus for this small level, at least for the small level. When I'm talking about for this small level, I'm still talking about even for now and the advanced class or intermediate class. We'll focus on Microsoft Defender for 365 deployment guide, which means configuring the email authentication, configuring the protection policies, assign permission to admins, priority account tags, configure users settings, block and allow entries, attack simulation, investigate and respond. So basically, what we are going to do is we're going to be doing this as an assignment because our time is fast spent. Obviously, we can't finish this, so we're going to start off with this, and then we're going to continue. And basically, we're just going to, take each of these admin center, try to create sites, see the difference between the sites, which I believe you guys can still do as well. It's very simple. All we need to do is just to go to I would lead that. So don't let me not take it. So I'm going to the SharePoint, for instance. This is the SharePoint. Good for us. We have some. We have some items already there. So we have teams, and then we have Purview, and then we have security. So we started off with this, with SharePoint, where you can have active sites. We try to work on active sites. We come over to the teams. We look at the teams, managing teams, and we look at the teams. Where we look at the Purview. We'll briefly look at the Purview and see what we can do to protect our data and to make sure that our data, gets into compliance environment. And then we'll take a look at what we have in terms of, so please go over this. So by the time we come tomorrow, which probably will be finalizing this before, then we'll be able to go over, yes, by the time we come to it, should be easy for us to go through. So sorry, a little bit late, so apology. So I guess we're also facing some snow this weekend here. So I'll leave it as it is for now. So so I'm going to leave it for now. So let's see. Hopefully we be able to connect, tomorrow. Any questions so far? Any question? Any question? Looks as if I have a question from somebody. Okay, no question. All right, so let's take a look at that. If you have account already, please go over it. Try to look around. You can practice with it. It's an account for you to practice with, and then it's still going to be available at least for the next 2 weeks. I guarantee, even after the class, except you are going to be in advanced class. So for those who are going to be in advanced class, I think we are going to work out giving them the license to the accounts, because they are going to be doing. Yes, thank you so much. Because they are going to be doing something much more, because they're going to be working with a cloud, so many things are going to be working, and they want them to be able to have that experience from their own personal account that you are creating for them. So they will be able to see, they will to do all that they need to do for those who are going to be going at advanced class. All right, so I'm going to leave you guys now. I think currently, so don't worry, you are we paying for the advanced class as well? Yes, we are paying for the advanced. You meet with because we are going to have enough time. The advanced class is going to cover 7 weeks, and then in addition to the 3 weeks you already have, which I have this is, so the advanced class is going to cover 7 weeks, and it's going to be almost about 2 hours. And then there's going to be that advanced class. It's we are going to be doing presentations. We are going to be doing. It's not like just listen and you go. No, you are going to be doing presentation. You are going to be doing a whole lot of things. So that hour is meant not just for to teach, but for you to be able to do presentation after each of the class. There will be presentation, there will be an assignment. You have to come back, you have to present what you have done. So that way, there's no way you will go for interview, you will not pass, because the truth of the matter is that you must have been internalized. You must have gotten everything that you needed, equip you to make sure that you get to the interview, you know what you're doing, you have practiced it over and over, you presented it, and it will be a permanent thing to you. So, and that's the model we have been adopting to make sure that people actually go out there and they excel. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We'll talk to you guys later. Take care.